Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mike.
And I'm Sham.
And in today's video,
we'll be spilling the tea.
What kind of tea?
Financial tea. We're going to be talking about some of the early times financially, just a little bit. And also the stigma around meeting someone who has it all together or, you know, just stuff like that. I don't know.
I remember when I first met her, like we said before, we was both in McDonald's. And we weren't really making that kind of money. So, you know, being able to build from that was a process. And I'm glad she stuck
We started
around.
from the bottom, literally.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have this stigma around, well, I can't date someone unless they already make a lot of money or already have everything together. We started at 19. Like, we didn't have nothing. But how did we go from that to the life we
making
built now?
$7.25 an hour? That
was that low?
That was rough. That was rough.
Yeah, I remember when we moved in together. Like all I had was like a laptop, a small TV,
And a printer.
and a printer. Not the printer. Jeez.
All I had was the bed. We didn't even have no dressers at the time either. No
The
dressers.
dresser was one of the first things we bought.
I had my computer, I had my video games, and a TV. That was it. That's all I had.
Yep, that's all we had. So
And
how did we go from that to owning a home and all that stuff now? So we're going to get into a little bit of that. So where you want to start?
I would like to start, pretty much where we first started at the bottom.
How we set goals.
We set goals by pretty much trying to achieve greater things, like pretty much get a better job that pays a little bit more, or get a better career that will pay us more, so we can actually sustain our expenses pretty much. So
Yeah, we started with small goals. Like we stayed with family in the first 8 months or so, I believe. It was a little bit less than a year, but we made the goal that, okay, we're going to stay here till August and save up some money and get our first apartment and stuff like that. And during that time, I remember I bought my first dresser, or our first dresser, paid that off. And then by the time we were able to get our own place, then we could take something else out. We were building credit, as well as, taking on one thing at a time. So that was pretty much it. And it was hard because somebody over here liked to spend money.
I sure do. I sure do. I mean, you think about it, I came from a family that was pretty much poor. And we didn't make enough money to say, hey, you know what, let's go ahead and get you a video game, or hey, you know what, get you a nice pair of shoes, or get you a nice pair of clothes or something. And it wasn't for us. You know what I mean? Like for me, it was just that. Like I wanted to be able to get what I wasn't able to get when I was a kid. And for her, she was living back home, and she learned how to save money more than to just spend it or enjoy life, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
totally
can be a good and a bad, because
there's a good and there's a bad side to it. Like there's a good side that 3-4 years from now you'll have $12,000, $15,000 into your account.
Done anything in your life.
But you haven't really enjoyed the money. You worked your butt off to do what? To show that you only have money saved up in the bank.
Yeah.
I knew a guy who I used to work with was the same exact way. All he wanted to do was save. So he was pretty much like, he would work and work and work and work and work. And I asked him, I was like, why are you working so hard? Oh, I want to be able to buy a house cash. Why? Your credit is like over 800 points. Why are you trying to save up to buy a cash? Why don't you just, get a mortgage, and it'll show that you actually did something for yourself? Well, he's hard-headed, so he didn't listen. All he kept doing was just working his butt off. Now, he's trying to enjoy life, and I feel like it's a little too late because he's so worked up with work that he doesn't have time to actually spend the money.
That was something I had to learn later on, but in the beginning it was rough. That was most of our little mini arguments in the beginning, was financial, and him saving and us trying to meet those goals, which I did give him credit. He did pay attention to the small goals that we set for ourselves and actually listen. But there was a few little arguments in there,
of course,
that had to get to that point. But we were able to get our first place together, get a couple of furniture, And we just started going from there. We went from that apartment to a bigger, a little bit more expensive apartment. I remember that one. Career-wise as well, you went into corrections, and I was able to later on get into being a dispatcher and started making a little bit more money. And then we made more goals for ourselves and ended up moving all the way to Nevada. So
we don't want to go backwards.
No.
We want to go forward. So in order for us to do that, we have to be able to adjust to what we're used to or what we're not used to. And and when we first moved out here, like she said, we didn't have anything. But
having a partner as well. When we bought the house, I wasn't ready I didn't think we were ready. That's the thing about wanting to just work more and save more and scared to take certain steps. But he was determined, like, we're gonna buy a house in 1 year. And if he didn't put his foot down with that, I probably would have waited longer, because you don't know if you're ready for that big of a step. You're like, what if it doesn't work out? So he was definitely the one that put his foot down on that one, just in terms of, we can do it. We're going to get a house in 1 year. And we actually did it. You remember that?
Yeah. And obviously we went through some bumpy roads along the way, but at the end of the day, it may have taken a year and a half to get, but we got it. We're here now. We're recording in our own home. We're not recording in somebody else's house. And it's a good feeling to be able to actually get to where we are. You know what I mean? It actually is.
Yeah. So let's get into this bank account.
So the myth is that the saying is that if you're in a relationship, you should have a joint account for both accounts or for both people. And every money should be put into that one pot. Why?
I disagree.
One likes to spend, or he likes to work his butt off for the money that he makes and likes to spend whatever he wants to spend it on. And then the other one just likes to save and save. And no matter how much money she has in the bank account, she still thinks she's broke.
Yep.
And, how would that even work out?
So how did we do it? We started with, obviously we met and he had his own account. I had my own little account. It was a lot of headache in the beginning when things needed to be done and he didn't have the money to get it done. And then it caused headache and arguments. So we decided just to keep it that way. You do your thing, I do my thing. And as long as you pay what needs to be paid, your responsibility, your bills, then that's all that matters. We did get a credit union together back then. Yeah. Remember, we got that little. What was the reason why we got it again?
Oh,
what were we doing?
To build our
credit. Yeah. Everybody recommends you get a credit union, so we decided to do that together. But we didn't get a joint account until we were getting ready to buy the house, and it was only because it would make it easier for the mortgage payments and stuff like that. So even right now, I have no idea how much he has in his account, and he has no idea how much I got.
If I had bills like debts, like cards, credit cards, I take care of the light bill, so I make sure that gets paid for.
Yeah, we're gonna get into
and other bills, and I for sure, I feel that if I have to use a joint account to pay for my own debt, why am I in debt then?
That is true. He's pretty good at that, but I give him that, assurance. You can, if you're behind, it's not the end of the world if you pay for one thing using the joint account.
If it comes to a point where I'm lower than my limit as far as how much I want to use for that 2-week period, maybe I'll take I'll take that offer. But if I can actually manage and juggle where I could actually pay for the bills before I pay for my own entertainment,
I just think it's less headache monitoring your partner's finances, every single detail.
Yeah.
Oh, you bought lunch today? Why you did that?
Yeah, no.
You ate at such and such a place today and spent $50? No, I'm not gonna sit there and monitor. No. It's just gonna cause arguments and arguments and headache, and I ain't got time for the headache. So as long as you pay your portion of what needs to be paid, and I don't have to sit there and be like, oh, the light is cut off because you didn't pay it, then that's all I need to know. You take care. And that's the other thing that we do. We're pretty good with balancing out our responsibilities in terms of bills. I know a lot of people out there want to sit there and say, well, the man has to pay for everything, or he has to pay for 3/4 of it and I only pay a quarter. No. we're gonna split it evenly down the middle.
Yep.
That's how it should be.
Everything is pretty much
So
split
even
in
if
half.
you pay the light bill, and light bill is around 200, 250, and I'm paying the phone bill, which is around the same, to me, that's how you balance out. So he has his bills that he cover, and I have my bills that we cover. He put in for the mortgage, I put in for the mortgage. That's all that matters. Like, that's the way we do it. Evenly, it's called partnership.
Yep.
50-50.
Yep.
Ain't no 3/4 unless he gets rich, you know. Yeah, then we might revisit that conversation.
Excuse you? Everything is still being split in half, young lady.
But that's my thing. It just makes everything easier when it's a partnership, when everything is just kind of split 50-50. It just makes your life easier.
If there is a time when we go out and we eat, we're both together. Like, we're not about to say, oh, let's, you pick up the tab or the other pick up the tab. I just pull out the sharing account, like, here you go. Like, that is what it's going to be paying for.
Before we had the sharing account, we used to just say, okay, I have money for gas, or
we'll
stuff like that. We used to do that too.
Yeah, we used to just be like, okay, well, you take care of gas, I'll take care of meals this time, or the next time I'll take care of gas and she takes care of meals.
But it works. It kind of balances out.
It works out. Yeah. It was fun. Like, it was pretty much like,
we didn't have to argue about it.
Yeah, we didn't have to argue about, like, oh, the man should be the one to pick up the tab for this.
Yeah, every time we eat. Like, why?
No.
Yeah, we used to do gas and maybe like breakfast, one person.
Yep.
So that's about 30, 40, 40 something bucks.
Yep.
Then when we go to Chili's or whatever, that's pretty much what it's going to be. So balance.
Yep. Sure was. Yeah, when we, like she said, like when we first started, it wasn't like, oh, let's just go ahead and open an account and that should be our account.
Let's put all our, how some people say, oh, they get paid and they just literally hand their partner the check.
Yeah, no.
They have no idea
I don't know
what happens to it.
I don't know how people can just trust that. Like, you've heard horror stories about females and even males. It doesn't just go for one side.
It goes both ways.
But it goes both ways. Like, one side, like, let's say the man wants to be the dominant one and he wants to sit there and just collect the wife's or the girlfriend's check, and then he wants to go out and gamble it and then come back and say, we don't have money for the rent. What?
I will get a heart attack.
No. So, to make it easier and to make her, to pretty
much help her. That's a control thing, too.
To help her mind be at ease, I just say, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and straight out of my check. Whatever the amount that we decide is going straight into that account.
Yep.
And that's where all the bills are being pulled.
I think that's a control thing when people do that, when they just literally hand over all their money to their partner.
Yeah.
That's a control thing, and that's not what we're in a relationship for. We're in a relationship for a partnership.
Yeah.
Let's go through life together.
Yeah. Like,
evenly. There's no, you do more than I do. No. Like I said, unless he's rich, and then that's a whole nother story. What? Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We just wanted to touch on that topic because a lot of people ask that question, like, should you, give your partner all your money?
I would hate if I was to have my money going into one account and she was to say, okay, well, here you go, $200, make it work for 2 weeks. What? How am I supposed to do that?
Here's your allowance for the next 2 weeks.
No.
You cannot spend more than this amount.
Hell no.
Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed us spilling that little bit of tea.
Yep. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed our video of today's episode of Myth. I hope you guys enjoyed our side of what we actually said and how we went about it.
Yep, what worked for us.
Yep.
It might not work for you, but
might not.
Just letting you know.
And if it doesn't work for you and you guys need a little bit more clarification, please don't forget to leave us a comment and let us know of what you guys think about our theory and how we felt about it. We would like to hear you guys tell us how you guys feel about our episode of today's video. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so, because I think there's at least 75% of you guys are not actually subscribed yet. So come on, subscribe to us. I know you like our video. Don't sit there and lie. Don't lie. Anyways, until next time.
Bye. Guys. So how we started?
Same as always.
With the cup, with the tea.
So you'll be saying the part where the tea thing? It'll probably come out better from you. Yeah. There it is.
Is that
That's
thumbnail?
the thumbnail.